You're waiting for your train, you're minding your business, you're on your phone, and then suddenly a stranger walks up and smashes a bag of feces into your face. What do you do? What is up, YouTube? It's your boy G11 back at it again with another episode of Homie Talk, where we have real discussion about real things happening right now. Guys, I want to apologize for my absence from the channel. I have been extremely busy with work and school. My goodness. I'm trying to, if you guys didn't know, I'm trying to finish up my bachelor's degree in business administration, because I have some plans long-term about starting my own business, of course, right? YouTube is a business already, but I have separate plans for down the road after I finish, my primary career currently. So, that's been kind of hectic. And then also school has been, the day job has been pretty crazy. So, between that, I've really just not had time, trying to, stay in shape as well, trying to get back in shape. Your boy was a little bit heavy for a minute. So, you got to take care of your health and all that stuff too. But I digress. You guys are not here for my bullshit. Okay. I want you guys to picture for a second. It's Friday night. You're in New York City. Had a long day of work, and you go to take the subway to get home, as most people do, right? Subway is how most folks get around. But you're waiting for your train, you're minding your business, you're on your phone, and then suddenly a stranger walks up and smashes a bag of feces into your face. What do you do? How do you even react in that situation? This exact thing that I just explained to you guys, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, has literally happened. You got a situation in New York where you have a gentleman by the name of Frank Abrokwa, 37. I think he's a transient type. He was caught on surveillance in the subway walking up to a woman. He's holding a bag of his own feces and smashes it in her face just because, it was random. Smashes it all in her face. You actually see a little bit of it fall on the ground and puts the rest on her. I'm just gonna show y'all the clip. So you guys saw that, you heard that. This guy has a pretty lengthy rap sheet as well. I believe he's been arrested over 20 times, which, I'm thinking, how many times does it take before, someone is kept off the streets? I don't even care why he was arrested 22 times, but for the mere fact that he's been arrested 22 times, come on, man. The story doesn't stop there. I have a separate clip that I want to examine with you guys and break down, because this guy took to Facebook and released some really odd videos about, why he did what he did and how he's never going to be in prison. Okay. This is what our criminal justice system is, because this is what a lot of people wanted. So let's get to the clip.
Now to the increasing outcry over the release of the man accused in the subway feces attack. In addition to that disturbing crime,
there's the clip again.
He faces a slew of other charges.
And tonight, there are alarming social media posts from the suspect talking about getting out on the street without bail. Morgan Mackay covering this for us tonight. She is live on the Upper East Side with reaction. Morgan.
Stephen, Lori, we got a chilling look today at Frank Abrokwa's Facebook page and found posts of him linking demons to sleep paralysis and making other strange claims. And just today, he posted a video about the fecal incident. Here is a snapshot.
Oh, this guy is crazy, crazy. But if he were to be put in prison, this is system's racist, right? The system is against black people. Okay.
The species that's the scenario, Rob, should keep every female in their right mind away from me.
In a rambling Facebook video, 37-year-old Frank Abrokwa bragged about being released from jail without bail after surveillance footage showed him allegedly smearing human feces on a woman in the subway.
Everybody know Frank does him. I shoot anything that I get my hands on. You get what I'm saying?
He also posted a picture saying, quote, "Never been up north, never will." The NYPD says Abrokwa has an extensive criminal history and has been arrested nearly 24 times, including 2 arrests this year on assault charges and an arrest last fall where he is accused of spitting on a Jewish man, which...
Yeah, that's that's it right there. We could stop the story and go home. This guy is a career criminal. That's what they call it, right? Someone whose rap sheet is older and longer than some people's age. And he had already been arrested 2 times previously on assault. Y'all don't see the issue here, the actual issue here? That someone like this is allowed to continue just being re-released out onto the street. A career criminal. Let's continue.
Is a hate crime. Head of the MTA, Jano Lieber, says he is just as horrified by the attack and wants to ban repeat offenders from the subway. The state already has a law that can ban people from public transit for up to 3 years if they are convicted of unlawful sexual conduct or if they are convicted of assaulting an MTA worker. But this law has only been used twice.
It makes no sense to me that a guy who has a bunch of priors for attack.
Yeah, because the law, because it's a stupid law. That's why it's only worked twice. Because the law is only in place, it seems, based off of what she said, for the workers' protection. Like, what about the actual passengers? And it's just said, actually, it just said sexual assault and attack of a worker. What about all the other stuff in between? I'm not surprised that it's only worked twice. You know what I'm saying? And then how do you, I mean, you ban somebody, but you know how many people live in New York and use the subway on a daily basis? Like, how are you gonna, and this guy is homeless, so you don't really know where he's gonna be, or, you know, you identify him every time. Unless, you know, people just know him. Someone like this needs to be off the streets, in my opinion. But I know some of you out there are gonna call me all kinds of different stuff, which is fine. I mean, but this is what people wanted. This is what people voted for. So I'm not surprised at what's going on. I mean, this is pretty gross, this particular incident. But when you look at the deeper issue here, repeat offender on the streets, man. And he knows he's going to keep going back out and doing the same stuff.
The guy who has a bunch of priors for attacking people, including a hate crime, and who does that horrific attack, really victimizing somebody, can be let out of jail, you know, let out by the court and just walk right back to that subway station.
Mayor Eric Adams also condemned the attack and once again blamed the state's bail reform laws for allowing Abrokwa back on the streets. MK Kashian, a civil rights attorney, however, disagrees and says this case is not a failure of the bail reform law, but rather a failure on the part of the judge to set bail, pointing to...
All right, guys, I got curious about that bail reform law that they were talking about. So I went to the New York State Senate.gov website and I pulled it up so we could break it down. So let's see here. What did the bail reform law do? In 2019, the legislature passed a bail reform which eliminated cash bail for most misdemeanor and non-violent felony charges. It also requires judges to consider a person's ability to pay in cases where bail is set. Before its passage, thousands of New Yorkers languished in jail without being convicted of a crime, simply because they could not afford to pay bail. Now, I think that's an important distinction. Convicted of a crime. But they could have been arrested on something that was seen, something they were doing. Doesn't mean you have to be convicted yet, right? Overall, bail reform lessened the role of cash bail in New York's criminal legal system and led to significantly fewer people behind bars. We're seeing a direct effect of this in 2022 with this case. That is so interesting. Let's scroll down a little bit. Has bail reform led to an increase in crime in New York State? Now, this is funny. This is on the New York Senate.gov website. No, crime overall has not increased. However, since 2020, there has been a sharp increase in two specific types of crime: gun violence and homicides. Does that make sense to y'all? Wait a minute. How can it directly? It's directly contrasting itself there. The question is, has bail reform led to an increase in crime in New York State? So first it says no, crime overall has not increased. However, there's been a sharp increase in two specific types of crime. So the answer would be yes. This trend is nationwide across cities governed by Democrats and Republicans. Now we know. For y'all people at home, you guys know what cities are actually really being affected by this stuff. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's Democratic run cities. You can look anywhere. Look at a major democratically run city. The crime and murder rates are through the roof. And in a lot of places, let's take Philadelphia, for example. I think they're on track to like triple the murder rate this year. It's insane. Of the 11,000 people released from New York City jails between January and June of 2020, as a result of bail reform and in response to the threat of COVID-19 behind bars, less than 1% were involved in any gun violence during the release. Yeah, but it doesn't, it doesn't just have to be gun violence. I mean, there's other types of violent crime. You got domestic assault, you got sexual assault, you got dudes putting feces on people's face. You could tell this was a democratically sponsored bill because they didn't really think about, or maybe they just didn't care, right, about the implications of what this was going to do, which we're seeing directly in 2022. New York City public transport crime skyrocketed by 200%. Despite Eric Adams sending 1,000 cops to police the subway in the first week of his crackdown. But wait, the website said crime isn't up. I think they got to update their... I think the New York.gov website, the Senate.gov website needs to make a few updates there. Crime is definitely up across the board. I mean, that's just the effect of... That is a direct effect of that bill. Again, you have people out on the streets. They might not be doing gun violence all the time, but if you've beaten somebody up or putting someone's health in jeopardy, I mean, because putting feces in somebody's face, that's pretty gross. I mean, that contains a whole bunch of bacteria and just bile and foul stuff out of your body. It's waste. And you're putting that on somebody. Who knows how that's going to affect someone? It doesn't have to be a violent crime to be heinous. You feel me?
To the number of open cases against him.
This person had open misdemeanor cases from the beginning of this year. And because of that, those subsequent cases were eligible to have bail set very clearly under the law.
Now, the Bronx District Attorney's Office says they asked the judge to set bail, but the judge refused, while the Office of Court Administration says their hands are tied under this bail.
They asked the judge to set bail and the judge refused. The judge refused to set bail. Something doesn't seem right with that picture, in my opinion.
bail reform law. Bottom line, Stephen Laurie, prosecutors and judges are not on the same page when it comes to this bail reform law. Live from the Upper East Side, I'm Morgan Mackay, Fox 5 News. Stephen Laurie, back to you.
Guys, that is our time for today. I thought it was just an interesting story. It's a little different from the normal, you know, stuff that we cover on the channel over here. I don't know. Again, I always just picture, you know, if that was me or my mother or my wife or my daughter, right? I probably shouldn't make it personal, but I always do when I see stuff like this happen to women, right? You know, that's probably somebody's mom just going home and she gets feces smashed in her face because the criminal justice system failed to contain this guy. Who has 22 arrests, was already had 2 cases earlier this year that were eligible for bail, you know, outside of this stupid bail reform law that the New York government passed. I mean, what we're seeing literally is a direct result of dumbass policy. I mean, there's no way of getting around it. But this is what people wanted. This is what people voted for. People are saying the system is too hard on brothers. You know, they're saying the sentences are too harsh. They're saying the system is racist. All kinds of stuff. Well, this is what y'all wanted. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. As always, hit the like and subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you share the videos. And until next time, y'all, peace.